Mike and Matt bringing back the mid to late 90s. Mike and Matt bringing back X-Files CCG.
All right, you ready?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, so these are all questions that are asked by subscribers and viewers and members of the Facebook group.
Yep.
Were you as big of a fan of the show as you were of the game, or vice versa?
I think I was a big fan of the show. Obviously, that was what got me interested in it and selling the boxes when it first came out. Got to remember they were really expensive. I think it was $50 a box.
Yeah.
So you had to buy these things. You had to sell them at $3 a pack. To hope to get any money out of them. So anything that I bought at the time, trading cards, I had to kind of be passionate about it because, it was a big money commitment to do it. And once you did that, you were in there for rares and ultra rares and all that. So I guess I'm a bigger fan of nobody could be a bigger fan of the game because I sold a lot of it, obviously. So yeah, I guess I would be a bigger fan of the game. But yeah, loved them both.
All right. Do you know were there any plans to like beyond the second edition to release anything? Obviously, there was the 10-13, but any more expansions past the Scully expansion? I mean, did they have any grandeur plans or anything like that?
The biggest issue that they had was difficulty with 10-13 productions, and that wasn't exclusive to just the game. They just had a hard time licensing issues, and it was silly things like Dave told me that the rare card Symbol of Faith. You remember the Symbol of Faith?
Yeah.
It was Scully's cross. He said there was 7 revisions on that single card. And the 7th revision was to change it back to its original card.
Oh, good.
You got to remember that if I was producing, say, an X-Files watch, and I go to 10-13 Productions and say, "Here's our watch. What do you like about it?" And they're like, the letters are too big. I can change that. Boom. Then they come. Yeah, okay, it's good. Okay, my product is done. X-Files had 350 plus cards per set, so they were going through everything with this ridiculous fine-tooth comb, and it was just not it was just not feasible for them to do that, put that kind of time in. So yeah.
All right.
So they did have other set. I think that's what killed it. I mean, according to Dave, they were really selling well. They had a lot of grandiose plans, but the difficulty in getting the stuff licensed, they just couldn't do it. They couldn't put that kind of a time into it. So the Scully expansion that was supposed to come after the 10-13-61 set, that was, I guess, where they were going. I know Dave had other plans coming up. They were doing the you've gotten the promo, the different ad slicks.
I do, yeah. It's amazing.
Different products.
They look real.
Yeah. So they were in prototype form. I mean, it's like everything they make it was in the prototype form. I remember the 10th. What killed me, the 10-13 or the plastic box set. I tried to duplicate what that was supposed to be like. By early on, so I think I was selling for like $15, and it was the starter deck, booster pack, and a promo card. But I just did the Infected That You Might Believe promo card.
Yeah.
So that's how I pitched that to people. So nice. Yeah, that was that. But what I was going to say is, Dave told me that the cardboard bottom of the pack they had thrown out. They threw out 2 things the week before I got to Dave on it, and it was the little plastic things that held them, and these little stickers, these little X stickers that were on the premieres. He said they just had thousands of these, hundreds of rolls of these, and they had just thrown them out. And every time I look at that pack, I'm like, oh man, it would have been so cool to I could just stuck them all over everything. So I didn't make it in time to rescue those. You know? So yeah, they did have other plans. Just never got to them.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know, were any of the cast, the X-Files cast, fans of the game or have any input for the game? Do you know?
I don't know if they were fans of the game or not. I remember the guy who played Toombs, Victor Eugene Toombs, who he's known more for the fact that he was married to the 16-year-old girlfriend.
I know this. I shouldn't. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
His name Doug
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's married to I forget her name.
Courtney Stodden.
Courtney Stodden, exactly.
Yep.
Well,
I'm really ashamed that I know that. By the way, I'm just throwing that out there.
Celebrity gossip.
Tell us about the first season of Kardashians.
No.
So anyway, I met him at the Detroit X-Files Expo, and he was cool enough to sign some cards because I knew he was going to be there. So I had the Toombs cards, and he signed some for me. Really, really soft-spoken guy. It was creepy. He was like Toombs. He was just really soft-spoken. He was really kind of there. He was really kind of creepy. Nice guy. But he had never heard of it before. He'd never heard of the game. You know, I was like, we'll take some cards, you know. So,
nice.
But yeah. So not to my knowledge. I'm sure they all. You sign your soul away when you sign your license. You know, your image rights.
Oh
away,
yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
So this is personally my favorite question, and I've only heard rumors upon rumors about this, and if anybody would know about this, I mean, I'd be really surprised if you didn't have at least an idea. Are there any truth to the rumors about a pewter Mulder and Scully promotional card at the time when the game was canceled? Because
I held them in my hands.
So they do exist. They do exist.
Absolutely. Yep, there is. I seen them. I held them in my hands in Dave's office, so they absolutely do exist. There is something else you don't know about, so there was a brief flirtation of an idea of doing what was going to be called a gilded set. So what they did was on the cards, you know, it's like the Bible, it's gilded, the gilded edition. And you look at the side, it was all gold. So there were two sets made that were called the gilded sets that were, I guess, prototypes of what they were thinking about doing. I guess they were considering maybe inserting them in packs. I don't know how they would have done it, or if they. I can't imagine I don't know if they were going to release them as a whole set or just do some and release them in the packs for later editions. But I know there was two gilded sets that were made, and Dave showed me one of those.
Wow.
So yeah, it was cool. It was just, as you looked at it from the side, it was all gold. But he had the pewter inside. And the pewter were in like I remember the pewters being inside like a box. I don't know what else they had in them, but yeah, he absolutely existed. I held those.
There's on the
He almost gave me the gilded set. Actually, he said, "Hey, you can have it," and he's like, I would have to check on that. I can't do that. They're crazy about some stuff. So yeah, almost had it. Almost had the gilded set.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
But you saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
I don't know what they would have done with the pewters. I don't know how they would have sold those, but they absolutely existed.
Wow.
All right. Cool. All right.
That was a good question.
Yeah, I like that question.
Yeah.
Is
that your question? Or is that somebody else's?
No, this is a user submitted question.
I get that.
What was the story behind the 5 different smoke and mirrors promo cards? It seems some would have been more rare than others. Was there an equal distribution in the Scry magazine?
There was not. There was, if I'm not mistaken, there was not just those cards. And I could be wrong on it, but I thought Mulligan was inserted in an odd way like that. Maybe it wasn't, but in the Scry magazine, there were just flipped in there at the back. You just saw the cards. So there's no way of knowing what you were getting. The first two promo cards are were the most abundant. As I got toward the end, five is really rare. So 5 is the rarest of the smoke and mirror cards.
You know, the deny everything. I remember reading about that as a teenager, and I can't remember if it was Inquest or Scry, but it was randomly inserted in like 1 out of every 30 Scry magazines or Inquest magazines.
That might have been the Mulligan. That might have been where the Mulligan came in. That because there would have been another card you either got or deny everything. I bet anything that was where the Mulligan was.
Huh. All right. So kind of a duo question here. We got kind of a similar question by 2 users or by two fans. I guess I'd really like to know what caused the premature death of the game.
It was that's a fantastic question that I've already went through there, but it was licensing. It was just Dave was, you can tell when you're talking to people about stuff. It was adamant that was the problem. And I actually was on, I'd already pretty much gotten everything from them. And he had talked to me. He was like, what if I could get this reprinted? What if I could? And I was like, what do you mean? And so it was a point where I was talking to him, and I was on the back deck there at Beach Street at the United States Playing Card Company, and he was toying with it, or he talked to somebody there about getting it started back up. I don't know why, if it was just there was there was a renewed interest. I don't know. It didn't last any longer than that conversation. I think when he went back and talked to somebody else, the concept got shot down, but he had a plan at that point to get it back, and he seemed kind of confident actually at that moment that it was doable.
That's interesting. That segues into one of the other fan questions we got.
Yeah. What are the odds of getting the game going again, or at least printing the Scully set and any unreleased promos? Which you've already kind of answered some of that. But
I think that the craziest thing about this was, like, after all this time, you kind of always wait for it to just, be months before somebody asks you. For me, you think I've having sold clearance products for so many years, nobody's looking for the old, I don't know. The old series, if anything, has a shelf life, and then it's done. Matter of fact, it gets cheaper and cheaper as the time goes on. It doesn't increase in value. So X-Files, I watched Truth Is Out There editions going from, just increasing. I think I've seen them sell on eBay for $75 a box. It's crazy amounts. Same thing on the 1013s. I look at the 1013s and I'm like, are you kidding? These are premieres. They're respectable. I think it's certainly feasible. I mean, you have to look at, and this is the most amazing thing for me about the game. This game is based on 3 seasons.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. There is a lot of stuff that can a lot of resources there. I know that the Scully edition was it was all approved. I don't know if it was all approved, but at the time they had a computer company that a company that they worked with that had the cards ready digitally at one point. So I remember Dave saying something like, "Yeah, I got to get that. I got to get those files." That was the last I So they didn't even have them.
I tried getting a hold of somebody at USPC, anybody that even knew any of the guys that worked on it, and they're like, "They're not here anymore. We don't know what you're talking about." Bye. I mean, it's just
Dave. No, Dave was the last man standing on it, and Last time I tried to get a hold of him, I couldn't get it. I still want to get a hold of Dave, but yeah. So
We're trying.
I think it's feasible. I from what I've seen, it's been a lot of years. And X-Files is a huge cult game. It's a huge cult show. They're making a lot. They're making junk that's selling and that doesn't have that kind of strong license out there. So I think it's feasible. And if I could in any way be a part of that, I sure would try.
So after basically you had to walk away with nothing but multiple pallets of X-Files cards. What have you been up to? I mean, what else have you done? Who have you become? What are you doing now?
Well, my business is I did surplus merchandise and I resell surplus merchandise. So I buy a lot of just auction stuff from state agencies. So I pick up a lot of stuff at auctions and buy stuff directly from states.
I'll take that Revenge of Mars machine from off your hands if you
well,
like.
that's one of the pinball machine. I got about 30 pinball machines and room for about 6. So yeah, so that's my hobby, pinball. So that's what I'm doing.
I got one final question. This is not a user submitted question. This is a Mike and Matt question. And the reason why I asked this question, I'll kind of preface it, is we have plans, things that we're discussing.
Yeah.
What can you tell us? What did you know about the contest?
Very little, and I'd be cautious about any good conspiracy X-file, the cigarette smoking man type guy that has some info. I will be careful about what I would say about it because I don't want to do any spoilers of anything that you guys might be planning.
Well, we're not talking about anything that this isn't about us. This is about
the original
contest. The original contest, the original game. Can you go? What was it about? What did you know about it? I mean,
I just remember talking to Dave, and he said, "Did you know about the contest?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "In the game, we embedded hints about a contest to win a set of cards. I think it was a complete set of everything. I don't. But somehow in the cards and the packagings, there were clues that would lead you to figure out how to win the contests. So beyond that, do you want me to expand on that? What little I know?
Yeah, I think that's only fair.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, this is of the premiere time, I guess. It had something to do with the on the cards. There was certain characteristics that somebody would look at or something and figure out that there was a pattern going on, and they used anomalies, I would say, on the card to figure out. It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
we are two of the finders originally of that contest back in 1996. And fun fact, you'll get a kick out of this story. Back in the 90s, it wasn't as World Wide Webby as it is today, right?
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
So when you discovered a secret within a secret within a secret, it gave you a fax number. And in that fax number, you had to provide all these different things. My stepfather had a fax machine, and I didn't know how to use it. So all I knew was I had a list of information, and I needed to fax it to this number. But I didn't know if it went through. So I faxed it and faxed it and faxed it and faxed it every which way, back up and down, side the other. About 3 months later, I got, how many did I get? 3 or 4 packages?
Got 3 or 4. I used his fax machine.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. And he didn't, I don't know if it was David May, he didn't even check them. He probably just got a notification. This guy wanted, here, just send him this. Oh, this guy wanted, send him this. This guy wanted, send, hey, weren't those 3 addresses the same? Oh, I don't care.
So what did you receive?
It was a t-shirt, which ironically enough may be the t-shirt you're talking about.
It would have probably been.
And it was a No One's So Paranoid promo card, and there was something else, and I honestly can't remember. I wish to God I could remember. This is why we need to get a hold of David May.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome, man. And I'm kicking myself now. You probably have some of those cards at your house.
There's probably some buried in some like old woodshed or something from childhood. Yeah.
Now I remember one thing about when I did the first show, and David, I'd gotten my product, I guess my 10% booty for selling the stuff. He would go through, and they, at the time, okay, I'm going to show you something here. This is what a sorting tray looked like. So this was the original sorting tray of the starter decks. So they would manufacture the starting decks, and when they had them done like this, I guess this was their old ones, and if they didn't put them in a box yet, this is where they went to. So everything went in these sorting trays. This United States Playing Card Company. In fact, this was they did the first Magic. They printed the first Magic series. So the lids for some of these, they would say, I don't know, starters on them or something like that, or fixed ones, fixed twos, whatever. I have some boxes that would say Magic Lands or Magic Rares. So at one time, that thing would have been full of, this is a 3,700 card box. It would have been full of hundreds of Black Lotuses or whatever the first series of that Magic stuff was. But Dave pulled up and he opened up some promos. So it might be a box of promo cards this big. So he went through and he'd pull out promo cards and he'd give me promo cards that I went to like Chicago with. And so that's a little extra fact for you on
nice.
That's awesome.
That's cool, man. Well, we really appreciate you doing this, taking some time out of your, I'm sure, busy schedule to talk to us and answer some questions. What do you think? I don't know, man. What was the best question? What were you feeling?
Definitely.
There's some good
Do I have to do one? Do I have to do one?
Oh no, we're gonna do at least 2 or 3.
Yeah. What do you got?
I don't know. I have to probably think on it a little bit. But for me, the question that you were asking about, I guess licensing, I was more interested in that. Could it come back? That's my biggest.
Yep.
That has been my interest since, because I've seen how much. I remember this. I had a small box one time that had. I decided I was gonna the promos, the 5 promos. I sleeved a bunch of them. So early on, the first time I got them, I sleeved a crap ton of these things, right? And I had them in top loads and sleeves, and I had them in this box. And I remember my wife, girlfriend at the time, comes by and says, "You're never going to sell all of those. You're just never," And I was like, it's okay. Cause I overdid it. And I felt, she said, "You're never getting around all those." And they went fast. And I remember thinking back, and we've talked about that time and time again, how quick that box went through. So I've always saw this as a potential to go back and, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Surely to goodness, the same person who was doing 1013 production licensing back then ain't doing it now.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, you do still have for sale some of the Deny Everythings.
Well, we have a lot of promo cards. I have a promo card box, promo card set, I think 23 cards or something. No One's So Paranoid was one that we never got. Dave was really, No One's So Paranoid came out with, I guess, at the same era, and I think it was probably printed on the same sheet from the look of it as the Gen Con deck. I don't know if you guys have gone.
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at the Gen Con deck of the way the cards look, they look a whole lot like the printing quality of of No One's So Paranoid. It's always been my thought they were probably made at the same time. Dave didn't have access to any No One's So Paranoids. He did have Deny Everythings, and he was real stingy about the Deny Everythings. It was like his baby, and he didn't want to, put hardly any of those out there. So he gave me a few of them. That was it on that. So yeah, No One's So Paranoid was a tough card. So yeah, we have promo cards. You can go to that. You can go to the page that you'll link to, our eBay page, and people just kick through. Search put X Files in the search bar and take a look. But
awesome, man. Well, again, we want to thank you.
Yep. But it's amazing what we've run out of. We've run out of things like, ultra rare premieres that I just remember having just pallets and pallets of. gone. So I think it's a good I think it would be a good license to revive. If I could be a part of something like that, I certainly would try.
Well,
it's awesome.
Not for saying we won't try. I mean, we get enough likes on this and enough momentum. I mean, who knows? Maybe pigs can fly one day, because we certainly play it. And if it came down to it, there'd be the basic rules, there'd be the advanced rules, and then there'd be the Matt and Mike rules, because we augment as we play. And
well, like Dungeons and Dragons, that's the rule of D&D, is that you make it fun. So rules are secondary to fun. Dave, you just jogged a memory. When I was talking to Dave at that time, he was talking about a simplification of the rules of it. So that was part of what he was talking. I remember him talking about. So I think that would be the way to go.
Nice. All right. Anything else?
No,
I have shipped this. I'm sorry, I keep throwing stuff at you.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah.
I've shipped this stuff, all over the world. I had early on. I remember I was at a spot where I was just like, I just got to get my money back out of this. I was looking for at what point I'm getting my money back out of this. So I kept track of everything. So I had a map, and I would put a pin on the wall over in the country when I sold something at the country. And I was doing other sales at the time. I've sold, to customers in 50 countries. And I think I have probably 30 of them were X-Files. So I'm really confident of that. And this is a much bigger deal overseas than it is here in the States. Still to this day.
It is. Across the pond is where a lot of our viewers are from. Mm-hmm. And it's frustrating because, as you probably know, it's just so darn expensive to send across the pond. So I'm actually working with a couple of the guys right now. They're all kind of getting together and trying to figure out, okay, what do we need? And they're all putting in a list, and I can send one big package up to 70 pounds, and they're all going to chip in and then just kind of disperse it once it gets there.
I swear to you that I think there's a chance that I might have. They had the flat rate envelope, okay, and a flat rate envelope. They had a global priority mail envelope at one time in the late 90s. And I was getting so much trouble because it was, if it fits, it shipped. You could really set a steel plate here in the States. But international at the time, it was a 4-pound limit. Well, man, one box of X-Files, you can weigh it. In an envelope, it's just under 4 pounds. So at the time, I shipped those things global priority, and global priority overseas was really cheap. It was like $9 or something. It was really cheap. And I was sending them over, and I'm over at the main post office here in town. And the manager comes out and he says, "You can't ship these. You can't ship these. Like this is not." They were giving me trouble about shipping. I was like, "Hey, it fits in there." They're like, "No, you're distorting the package." And it was such a rigmarole that I went in and talked to another guy that I knew real well. He said he was talking to like the main guy at the main federal guy about the global. He said, "I think that you and these X-File cards," I think he was talking like the Postmaster General about this, because they ripped off. They didn't like how so I may have killed the global priority mail package from in the 90s because of X-Files.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, shipped them all over the world.
That's cool, man. Well, hopefully we can get her going again.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
So
absolutely. Well,
cool, man. Well, I'd love to do another one of these interviews, down the road, get some more questions for you. And you can see that, I've got, oh God, that's just the premiere that I've got so far. I mean, nothing in comparison, but I mean, you keep getting boxes upon boxes upon boxes, you start to collect. So, and then I'm just kind of doing trades with people. So we've got still a lot more fans, a lot more questions, a lot more things to give away. I love giving stuff away and helping you sell some more cards. So I really appreciate you doing this and talking to us. And if you need anything from us, let us know.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I'm glad you're promoting it out there. It's a great game, and I'm kind of feel like I'm honoring what I said to Dave back a long time ago, that I wasn't gonna, disrespect the product by dumping it, and I've never done that, and I'm glad that there's that. Maybe that's why. Well, I'm sure that's contributed to its value out there. If you find something out there for $1, nobody respects it,
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Well, cool, man. I'll be expecting, I mean, it's probably going to take a couple weeks to get the Revenge from Mars machine shipped to me.
I'll personally bringing that out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just making sure. Yeah. But until we talk again, man, thanks for coming on the show, and take care. Keep selling cards.
All right.
Yeah, thanks again, Mike.
Man.
Later.
Take it.